Hello and welcome in this session on learning related concepts. In this session, we are going to talk about some important concepts which are related to learning. First such concept is maturation. Second such concept is imprinting. And third such concept is teaching. So we will discuss that how maturation, imprinting and teaching are related to learning and how are they different from learning. Let us start our discussion with maturation. We all know that maturation is a natural process which basically unfolds the characteristics which are potentially present in the individual and which are in the individual due to genetic endowment. So what Harlock said, that while learning is development that comes from exercise and effort, but maturation is something which is inherited in any individual. If we see the definition given by Biggie and Hunt, Biggie and Hunt in 1968 said that maturation is a developmental process within which a person from time to time manifests different traits, the blueprint of which have been carried in his or her cell from the time of its conception. It means maturation has the developmental pattern of those characteristics, physical or psychophysical, which have been inherited in an individual from his or her parents. When we talk about maturation, we also try to understand that maturation is a natural process and maturation involves the changes that are associated with the normal growth of an individual. The changes which comes in an individual due to maturation, you should understand that they are independent of activity, practice or experience. So the changes which are coming in your body naturally with the increase of your age, with your growth, those bodily changes comes under maturation. Like voice changes after the age of 12 or 13 or 14 years. So it is a natural change. You don't practice for that. Some secondary sexual characters develop in your body due to maturation at a certain period of age. So the resultant behavior in the process of maturation does not fall in the category of acquired or learned behavior. As I told you, that whatever is the result of maturation is not the result of your learning, your activity, your practice. So you don't acquire or learn that behavior. That behavior comes on its own. How maturation is connected to learning? Maturation is basically closely linked with the process of development. So for learning, a certain level of maturation is always required. Like you cannot expect to learn something from a 5-year-old child which you think that a 10-year-old child can learn, because at the age of 10 years certain level of maturation is there which may not be at the level of 5 years. So a certain level of maturation is always required for certain kinds of learning. In fact, learning and maturation are closely interrelated. If you see that for many types of learning, you need certain level of maturation. But they are different too. So how maturation and learning are different from each other? Maturation is a physiological process or a physiological construct, but learning is a psychological construct. Maturation is hereditary in nature, but learning is acquired by your experiences, expertise, exercise, efforts. Learning depends upon maturation, but maturation does not. If someone is not learning something, it doesn't mean that his or her maturation will not occur. It will occur with time, the age at which it has to be. But for certain types of learning, I have already told you, you require a particular level of maturation. So learning is depending on maturation, but maturation is not depending. The next difference is that maturation stops after a certain period of time, but learning continues. It is a lifelong process. And maturation does not require practice, but learning does. The next difference between these two is maturation may be common to all, but learning is individualistic. Like for a man or for a woman, the maturation parameters may be same for all men or all women, but learning is always individualistic. If one can learn something, it doesn't mean the other person is also learning the same thing. He or she can learn some other thing, but maturation is not like that. Maturation basically brought changes in the physique, in internal and external body organs, but learning may not bring those changes. Thus we can say that maturation and learning are closely connected to each other, yet they are different constructs. Let us move to another related concept, that is called imprinting. Imprinting, sometimes also known as baby duck syndrome. So what do we mean by this baby duck syndrome? Actually, it is a term used first in 1930 by an Austrian ethologist, Konrad Lorenz. And Konrad Lorenz was doing basically an experiment to demonstrate that how ducklings and goslings follow the mother soon after the hatching. So he found that there is certain kind of attachment between the ducklings and their mother, or goslings and their mother, and that is basically due to their first impression or first connection. So he described the attachment behavior of newborn birds to the first large moving object in their environment, and he did further the experiment like football. He placed football in place of mother soon after hatching. So even he found that the birds which were hatched, they began to follow the floating ball in the pond, not to the mother only. So he described that whatever the first impression is, many individual birds, animals as well as human beings follow those. When we talk about imprinting more, we found that it is the phenomena in which any newborn creature wants to type of the animal it meets at birth. So initially imprinting was basically studied on the animals. Later on it was found that even human beings imprinting has its role. That's why now it is being said that imprinting is important for raising young ones, as it causes them to follow their parents, and to follow the parents blindly without any question. Whatever they have seen their parents are doing from their birth, they start doing the same thing, and this is referred as filial imprinting. For example, the way parents speak, babies learn to speak by copying their parents immediately. No one tells them how to pronunciate, no one tells them how to speak, but they learn the mother tongue directly from their parents due to imprinting. Some people call this imprinting as a baby duck syndrome. So what is baby duck syndrome? It is described when human imprint on something and deemed it the best of its kinds, regardless of anyone or anything better being available, because it is the first thing they encounter. You must have observed even in the kids that whatever they have learned the first, or whatever an individual has learned the first, he or she want to stick to that learning only, regardless there are more better opportunities available. But they feel that whatever they have learned first is the best. So such behavior is called baby duck syndrome. When we talk about imprinting, we also should keep in mind that in imprinting, a very young animal fixes its attention on the first object with which it has a visual, auditory or tactile experience, and thereafter they follow the object. Like if a child see how their parents are climbing on a rock, they observe it and they follow that. So in nutshell we can say that imprinting basically refers to the inborn perceptual process which is independent of any training or experience, and sometimes it is a survival mechanism too, in which one follows the first object for safety, security, love and attachment. The third related concept to learning is teaching, because we often use the term teaching learning process. So in teaching learning, teaching and learning are correlated to each other. But what is teaching? Teaching is a process through which one imparts knowledge or a skill, or someone gives some instructions or lessons, or they instill or inspire with. So teaching is an activity which basically facilitates learning. Teaching is the sharing of knowledge and experiences by more knowledgeable or more experienced person to a less knowledgeable or less experienced person. This is also one of the perspectives of teaching. Some people say teaching is an art. So when we say teaching is an art, we basically think that teaching can be performed with such a skill and grace so that both teacher as well as learners experience the whole process aesthetically. So every individual is not a teacher. A teacher knows how to teach. Teachers' activities are dynamic. They are not fixed like the scientific process or the steps of science. So that's why some people believe that teaching is an art. Whereas some people believe that teaching is a science. So those who believe teaching is a science, they are of the opinion that teaching is very systematic, logically planned and executed in the class. So before teaching begins, the objectives are fixed to bring about the desired behavioral changes in the learners. So when we fix everything, we plan everything, we make it sequential, step-wise process, then it becomes a science. All the tools, techniques and strategies are planned beforehand. Whether teaching is a science or teaching is an art or teaching is an art as well as science, you may debate on it. But yes, teaching and learning are closely associated with each other. When we say closely associated, we always believe that teaching is derived from learning itself. So it is the learning which decides how teaching will go, not the teaching which direct to learning. So teaching never direct to learning. Teaching is derived from the learning. And learning is facilitated by teaching. So teaching is a process which facilitates learning, and both are mutually benefited. So we can say that there are many terms which are associated with the learning process. In today's discussion, we talked about maturation, imprinting, and about teaching in brief. So let's explore more about learning in coming sessions. Thank you very much.